Hi, welcome to Naresh IT Technologies. This is Sudhakar, and today we are going to discuss about server types in SQL Server. Okay, so in last session, in the last video, we discussed about the complete the connected to server window options we discuss, like server type, server name, authentication, username, password. Okay, we discuss in connected to server window, and in that options, my first option is what is now server types. Okay, so in the last session, okay, the last video, the server types are 4 types I was given here. The first one, database engine, analysis service, and next reporting services, and finally integration service. Okay, so these are the 4 services which was comes under server types in SQL Server. Okay, but one by one we will discuss what is database engine, and database engine basically for what purpose I am going to using, okay, in SQL Server tool, and later on analysis services where the people are using, and later reporting services how we can use, and finally integration services what it is. Okay, so one by one server type we will be discuss what is what. Okay, now first we will go to discuss now my first component in server type, that is database engine. Okay, let us see now. So now there are 4 types of services are there in SQL Server, that what we discussed in the last video. So server types. Okay, so in this server types, okay, first type was we called as a database engine. Okay, so this is my first server. So now first component and first server is database engine. Okay, so database engine exactly for what purpose I am going to using in my SQL Server. Okay, so let us see here. So database engine we called as it is a core component of SQL Server. It is a core component of SQL Server. Otherwise we can also call the core server in SQL Server. Okay, so core means what it is here. So we know the core is nothing but the main component. Okay, the main component of SQL Server. So out of 4 services, this is the main service in SQL Server, and by seeing this thing or by seeing this point, you can say like this here, without a database engine, okay, even though we can't expect SQL Server. Yes or no? So without a database engine, you can't expect your SQL Server. That means you can understand how much important role was playing in SQL Server environment. Okay, so that's why the people saying that it is a core component, otherwise core service of SQL Server. And this core service, why we want to use means we are going to using for the 3 major reasons. The 3 major reasons we are going to using here. First one we called as a storing purpose. First one we call as what now? Storing the large amount of data. Okay, and later on after storing the data, then later I want to go for processing. So whenever I want to process my data, okay, as per our requirements, then you can go to use again. And later the most important thing is what it is here, security. The third one is what now? Security. So that means database engine. Okay, this engine I am going to using the majorly 3 purposes. One is storing purpose, one is processing purpose, and one is security purpose. So these are the major points, okay, in my database engine why we required in SQL Server. Okay, so but here in database engine, whatever the information I am going to storing, okay, that information should be stored in the format of tabular formats. Okay, whatever the information I am going to storing here, the format of what is now tabular format. So table is nothing but, you know, it is a collection of rows and columns. It is a collection of rows and columns. Okay, so in this pattern, the row and column pattern, I am going to store my data under database engine in SQL Server. Okay, so these are the point about storing, processing, and security. So after storing your information in the form of tabular format, then the data if I want to process, okay, the processing is nothing but to perform some operations like inserting data, updating data, otherwise deleting, selecting data. These kind of operations I can perform on my table information. Okay, that process we called as a processing method. Okay, in this processing, what we are doing here, we are going to insert, okay, we are going to perform update, otherwise we can perform delete, otherwise select. So these kind of operations I can perform on my database table. Okay, these are comes under processing area. Yes or no? So how the data was loading and how the data was unloading. So these kind of things, operations I can do it in my processing. And the later on what it is here, the major important role is what now? Security. But nowadays whatever the information we are going to storing under database server, the main important factor is what now? Security. The security is one of the factor why the people are going to store their information under servers. Yes or no? So whenever you want to store your information under database servers, then it will be provide more security by using different kind of security mechanisms are there to providing security for your information which was stored under database location. Okay, so this is one of the major factor I can go to say the database engine why we should required. Okay, so that is the last one what I said here, security. The security to your information otherwise data which was stored under database engine. Okay, to store your data, whatever the data was stored, to provide security to the data in database engine, even though I can go to check your database engine services. Okay, so this is database engine service, the main purpose in SQL Server, for what reasons we are going to use. But did you remember here, in out of 4 services, okay, database engine, analysis, reporting and integrations. So out of these 4 services, database engine is a most and more important component in SQL Server. It will be taking major role to perform all operations on database tables. Okay, so this is the core component, that's why we called here. Okay, this is the main purpose of database engine. Okay, now we can see the next service. What is the next service in my out of 4 services? Okay, that is called as a analysis service. So this analysis service, okay, purpose and how we are going to using now. Okay, let us see now the analysis service, how to use and what is the purpose now. Okay, so now the second service in my server type, that is called as a analysis services. Analysis services. And this analysis services, even though we called as a SSAS, we called SSAS we called for this analysis services where I can use in my real time applications, means simple I can say analysis service. I already said to you in the last video, this is one of the MSBI tool. Is one of the MSBI tool, and this MSBI tool I am going to using, the people was using for mostly we are using in data warehousing environment. So data warehousing environment, this analysis tool was used. Okay, but why, for what purpose I am using this analysis service tool in data warehousing environment means the simple reason, the data warehousing environment why the people are using means the using for purpose is what now? Storing purpose only. So what we want to store here, again we are going to storing here data only. Okay, the data only we are going to store. So whenever you want to convert, because in database engine I said to you the data will be storing into tabular format. Yes or no? So tabular format means simply we can say it is a 2-dimensional format. So the 2-dimensional format data, if you want to convert into 3-dimensional format, when I was convert into 3-dimensional format, okay, then I need this analysis service. So that's why the analysis service, the mostly we are going to using whenever you want to convert the table information or table format information. If you want to convert into graphical format, the graphical format is nothing but what now? 3D format. So when you want to convert your data from 2D to 3D format, then I can use what now? Analysis service. Okay, but this 3D animation, the 3D format of data, mostly we are going to see under which environment here? Data warehousing environment. So that's why the people are saying like that here, the analysis service we are going to using under data warehousing environment for storing the information in the format of 3D. Okay, but 3D format if I want to store, again the data comes from where? Comes from database engine only. Yes or no? So in database engine, whatever the information I stored, that information I will be converting into 3D format. Okay, so at this moment I need this analysis service. Okay, this is the service, the purpose, where and how to use. In the next tool, what is the next service we will discuss here? The next service is what now? Reporting services. Okay, so what exactly reporting services we will check out now. So the next service in our server types, the third one, that is we called as a reporting services. Reporting services, and this is we called as a SSRS. SSRS. But this tool, okay, again why we are using in real time applications means simple. I can say now here, first of all, when come to report, so generally what is the mean of report? Okay, what is the mean of report means? Report is nothing but simply I can say it is a document. Okay, so report is nothing but simply we can call it is a document, and the documents nowadays we are going to create it here. Okay, so documents we are going to create it nowadays means in these documents why we are going to create means the to store your information. So again documents are we are going to using for storing purpose only. So whenever I want to store some business related information about your organization or which is related to your company, the company related information, otherwise the organization business related information, when the people want to store in the documentation section, then they will be go for reporting service tool. Okay, so that's why the people what they will say here, the report is nothing but simple I can say it is a document, and in this document what I am going to do, I am going to store my business related information about organization. Yes or no? So when you want to store like this, then you can go to take your reporting service tools. And nowadays you know for every company, okay, for every company or every organization in the industry, yes or no, the company management people will take the new decision in the management side, then the management people will take the decision based on the reports. Okay, so the based on the final report or based on the company report, they will take the new futures, and the new decision makings will be happened in real time industries. Okay, but that kind of reporting generations or generatings, how it is possible means by using reporting service tool I can use it. So simply I will give one example. The reporting means I said it is a document, but how it is called a document means simple what I am doing here. Generally in my database, in my SQL server, okay, so we are going to storing your table under database now. Okay, let us see one sample example I will show you to easily understand that the reporting service tool how to use. Okay, let us see. So in this SQL server, what I am doing here, I am going to creating one database, and this is my database now. So assume like this is a database. In this database I am going to take one table. My table was simple I can say employee. So this is one table I am going to design under database now. So assume like this one table I was designed with some columns employee ID, employee name and employee salary. Okay, so later on what I am doing here, I am going to insert some records into this table. So the records I inserted 101, 2, 3 and the names are ABC, and the salaries I am going to insert here 25,000 and 32,000 and 15,000. So this is some employee information I stored under my database now. Now what I want to do here, whatever the table information was there under database memory, this information if I want to export. So exporting is nothing but sending from one place to another place. So now what I am doing here, this employee table information I want to export into any particular document. For example, I want to send this table data into MS Word document I want to do. So that's why what I am doing here, I am taking first of all MS Word. Okay, so in MS Word document, this is one of the document here, and in this document what I am doing here, whatever the table information was stored under database memory, this information I am going to exporting. So exporting is nothing but transferring here. Okay, so I am going to transferring my table information from database memory to a particular document. For example, my document is MS Word. Okay, so into this document, now I am going to insert my complete table data. So what exactly the table data was there in the database, the same information you can see in this MS Word. So my table name is employee ID, employee name and salary, the whatever the information was there, the same information you will be check out here. So I was given here 25,000 rupees and the second employee 32,000 and the third employee is 15,000. Okay, so this is what it is here in this picture. If you see the picture carefully, then what you understand here, database table information I am going to exporting into one MS Word file document. Okay, but this kind of process, this exporting the data from database to into documentation part, at this moment I need help. What is help here? SSRS tool is required. So this is SSRS tool. By using SSRS tool, what I am doing here, I am going to exporting the database table information into documentation section. So this is one example I show you in MS Word. In the same pattern, you can transfer, you can export your data from database to MS Excel also. MS Excel, XML files, .pdf extension files, yes or no, .tif extension files. So in any file, in any document, the where you want to require them. Okay, in which document representation you want it, into that you can go to export your data from database to in documentation part. So that's what I am saying here, whatever the data was exporting into documentation section, this every document, because simple I can say MS Word is a one of the document. So MS Word is a one of the document. So this document, what it is stored, the document is stored here data. So that's why simply what we say here, report is nothing but document. Document is nothing but to store some business related information about the organization. Yes or no? So this kind of process if you want to do, then I need here SSRS tool. But SSRS tool is also one of the MSBI tool. Okay, we are going to take this tool from MSBI part. Okay, and by using bits environment you can do this kind of operation. Okay, this is called a SSRS. Okay, and the next level, the one more service was there. What is the next level here? Integration services are there. So that integration services again how to use now? Now we can check now. The fourth service in my server type that we called as integration services. So integration services is my next server in my SQL server. Okay, so now here observe the integration services, again this service where I can use now. Okay, the simple thing here, the integration services we are going to using. Okay, it is also one of the MSBI. Okay, I already said to you the MSBI tools are here three types. Okay, one is SSAS, RS and IS. Okay, so here IS is a one of the tool of MSBI, and this tool, okay, this IS tool, the MSBI tool, why and where I can use means whenever I want to go for to convert. So whenever I am going to converting, okay, from one database tables into another database understandable format. So whenever you want to convert from one database tables into another database understandable format. So when you want to go for like this to converting purpose, then I can use my integration tool. For example, simple I can say now first initially I was using my SQL Server database. In SQL Server database I was created one database here, and in the database I stored some tables data. So not only one table, there are so many tables you can store under database memory. So now what I am doing here, now at present my tables data I stored under SQL Server. Okay, SQL Server database. But this database tables I want to convert into so another database understandable, for example Oracle. So I want to take here Oracle now. So Oracle is also one of the backend and one of the RDBMS tool. Okay, it is also like a database. So now what I am doing here, SQL Server database tables, I am going to converting into another database understandable format. The another database means I was taken here one example Oracle. So once you want to convert from one database tables into another database understandable format, this conversion purpose, whatever I am going to do here, this converting purpose, I need your SSIS tool. So majorly the real time people, this tool was using when they want to convert. Okay. So this kind of situation, the people was using what now? SSIS tool. Okay. So these are the 4 services in my server type in SQL Server. First one, database engine. Second one is analysis service. Third one is reporting service, and fourth one, integration service. So now by seeing this information, now we can understand that every service was having some specific reason in industry. Yes or no? So simply database engine, storing, processing and security of data purpose the people was used, and this is a core component of SQL Server. So simple I can say, without database engine there is no SQL Server at all. Simple I can define like this, because everything was depending on database engine only. So that is the reason it was a core component, it was playing the core component role. Okay. And next, analysis was using in data warehousing environments for 3D animation of the presentation. So whenever you want to present your data in 3D format, then you can use your analysis service tool. And the later reportings is nothing but generating reports. Yes or no? So transferring your table data into documentation section, that is called a reporting service. And later IS tool. The IS tool, simply what I said now, the transferring or converting data from one database to another database. So these are the 4 services is very important in SQL Server. Okay. So these are called as a complete the server types in SQL Server. Okay. Thank you so much for watching this video, and you catch more videos from Naresh IT.